Hello everyone. Today we will learn about the development tools used in microcontroller system. Essential tool that help us write, test and program embedded application. We will also discuss PICkit, one of the most popular hardware programmers used with the PIC microcontroller. By the end of this session, we will understand what each tool does and why it important in microcontroller development. Let's begin with the first question. What are the development tool in microcontroller system? What is a development tool in the microcontroller system? The tool used to write, compile, debug and test program with the microcontroller. This is the what development of the tools. Because the microcontroller cannot be programmed directly. We need a software and hardware tool create, test and load the program efficiency. Okay. So next question. What are the software development tools? What are a software development tool? Tool used to develop and test code such assembler, compiler and simulator. Software development tools are programs used to develop and test the code, such as assembler, compiler, and simulator. They help convert human readable code into machine instruction and allow us to test it before running on a real hardware. That is called the software development tool. Okay, the third question, what are hardware development tool? What are the hardware development tool? Physical device used to program and test microcontrollers like a programmer and debugger. Hardware development tools are physical device used to program and test microcontrollers like a programmer and debugger. They bridge the gap between computer and microcontroller, transferring code, checking hardware behavior, and debugging the real time. Okay, what is assembler? Assembler converts assembly language into machine language. What is assembler? Assembler convert assembly language into machine code language. Microcontroller understand only binary machine code. So assembly instruction must be translated before execution. Next question. What is a compiler? Compiler convert high level language code into machine code. What is a compiler? Compiler program that convert high level language code into machine code. Most developers write the program in C, C++, not in a binary. The compiler translates them into instruction microcontroller can understand. That is we use the compiler. Okay. Next question. What is a IDE? IDE means Integrated Development Environment. Integrated Development Environment. What is a IDE? It is a software suite combining editor, compiler and debugger. It is a software combined with editor, compiler, debugger, one interface. It is simply development by offering everything, writing, compiling, testing in single workshop. Okay. Next question. Give example of IDEs used in microcontroller. We are use Kill, we are use MPLAB for the Arduino board, Arduino IDE, Code Compressor Studio. Each of these supports specific microcontroller. Kill for 8051, MPLAB for PIC. Okay, Kill 8051, MPLAB, PIC, Arduino IDE, Arduino boards. Okay, or IDE for Atmega, like that. Okay, these are the IDE used for the microcontroller. Okay, now next question. Okay, what is what is a simulator in microcontroller development? Simulator mimics the microcontroller behavior to test code without using real hardware. Simulator is a software tools that mimic the microcontroller behavior to test the code without hardware. So it allow you to verify logic and timing before connecting to physical circuit, save time, avoid hardware damage. Okay. The next question, what what is a next question, ninth number question, what is a emulator? Okay, ninth one question, what is a emulator? Emulator is a hardware device that replicate a microcontroller for the testing and debugging. Emulator, it is a hardware device to replicate microcontroller to test and debug. Okay, it behave like a real controller but let you monitor and control internal operation. So ideal for advanced debugging. Okay, next question. One second. Okay, next question. What is a debugger? Debugger debugger is a tool that help identify and fix the program error by allowing step-by-step execution. It lets you observe variable changes, execution flow, essential for the correct logic error program. It is a you can execute step by step. You can see the changes in a step by step. Okay. The next question, 11th one. What is a programmer? A device used to load compiled code into microcontroller memory, that is called programmer. Okay, programmer means device used to load compiled code into microcontroller memory. After compiling code, it must be burned into microcontroller's rom or flash to run the programmer handle this task. Okay, after compiling code, it must be burned into microcontroller ROM and flash to run. This is the handle the task by programmer. Okay, next question. What is a development board? It is a hardware platform with microcontroller and basic peripheral for testing the program. It is a hardware platform with the microcontroller and basic peripheral for the testing the program. It allows beginner to test and prototype circuit without building everything from scratch. It is a inbuilt board which can use directly. Okay, now question number 13. Give an example of the development board. Arduino Uno, Arduino Nano, STM32. Okay, PIC 16F8877A. These are the development board that include the microcontroller, USB interface, input output pin, ready to experiment. Now next question. What is use of serial interference in development? What is the use of the serial interference in development? It allows the communication between the microcontroller and PC programming or PC for the programming and debugging. Serial interference used for the communication between the microcontroller and the PC for programming and debugging. Okay. Serial communication ensures smooth data transfer, easy programming, load for the IDE or the control. Next question, what is in-circuit programming? ISP. ISP means in-circuit programming. It's programming microcontroller directly on the target system. The method of programming microcontroller directly on the target system. You not need to remove the chip. It can be programmed in place. Save time and task and risk of a damage. It is a in-circuit programming. Okay. Next question. What is circuit debugging? Debugging in microcontroller while it run inside the actual circuit. In circuit म्हणजे inside the actual circuit. Debugging microcontroller while it run inside the actual circuit. It allow testing program in real world condition, helping identify hardware related bugs. Okay. Now next question. Why are software and hardware tools imported in microcontroller development? Software and hardware tools important in microcontroller development. They reduce development time, improve accuracy, simplify testing. Without these tools, debugging, programming would be slow and error prone. Atomically makes the process efficient. Okay. Next question. Which tool checks logic error before actual hardware testing? Which tool check the logic error? That is a simulator. It executes the program virtually, allowing you to test the logic without risk hardware damage. That is a simulator. Next question, which tool is used to burn the code into RAM or flash memory? That is a programmer. The programmer transfer your compile hex file directly into the microcontroller flash memory. That is a hex file. Okay, hex file. Then next question, which software is commonly used for the 8051 microcontroller programmer? We are using Kill Micro version IDE. Kill provide the assembler, compiler, debugger, specially optimized in a 8051. Okay. Next question. What is a PICkit? PICkit is hardware programmer and debugger developed by Microchip for programming controller. Okay. PICkit is hardware programmer and debugger developed by Microchip for programming microcontroller. It is used to load program into PIC microcontrollers and to debug them in real time. Okay. Next question. Can PICkit be used with the 8051 microcontroller? Yes, but only the 8051 variant made by Microchip that support the int circuit serial programming. So it can use. PICkit is a mainly for microchip product. It works only if microcontroller support the in-circuit serial programming protocol. Okay. The next question, what is the main function of the PICkit? It programs, compile code into flash memory of microcontroller. Okay. That is a core purpose, transferring the program hex file from your computer to device. That will do by the PICkit. Next question, what is a microcontroller series is primarily supported by PICkit? PIC DSP microcontroller from the microchip. Okay. Next question, What are the main type of the PICkit? PICkit 2, PICkit 3, PICkit 4. We are using PICkit 3. Okay. The types of the PICkit 2, PICkit 3, PICkit 4, and we are using PICkit 3. Next question. What is the ICSP in PICkit circuit? In circuit serial programmer. Allow programming without removing the microcontroller from the circuit. Okay. Next question. Which software is used with the PICkit? MPLAB IDE, MPLAB X IDE for the PIC microcontroller. Okay. Next question. What type of connection does PICkit use to communicate with the PC? USB connection. We use the USB wire here. Okay. Next question. What is the voltage level used to PICkit programmer? 5 volt or 3.3 volt? These are the standard logic level for most of the PIC microcontroller. Okay. For the safe operation. Next question. What is the use of the VPP pin in PICkit? It provides programming voltage to target microcontroller. VPP pin applied a specific voltage around the 10 volt needed to enable the chip programming mode. Okay. Next question. How many pin does the PICkit connector usually have? 6 pin. VPP, VDD, ground, PGD, PGC and AUX. Each pin serves the dedicated role of the communication, power, control during the programming. Okay. Next. Can PICkit be used for the debugging? Yes. PICkit used for debugging. It supports both programming and in-circuit debugging. Okay. Next question. What is the purpose of the PGD and PGC pin? PGD means data line and PGC means clock line for the serial communication. They synchronize the programming process and data transfer between the PICkit and microcontroller. Okay. Next 34. What is the advantages of using PICkit over the traditional EEPROM programmer? It supports in-circuit programming and debugging, eliminating the need to remove the chip. Traditionally, programmer required removing the chip. PICkit simplified developed by the working directly on the circuit. Next question. Which file format is loaded into PICkit for the programming? But obviously hex file. Next question. What is the type used to PICkit with 8051 project? A program compatible 8051 based microchip controller and debugger application. Okay, if it is a microchip controller, then only we can use, or in case support the 8051. Next question. Can PICkit supply power to be target board? Yes, it can provide the limited power for the low current circuit. This feature helps during the programming when no external power supply connected to the board. That time it will be required. Okay. Next question. What is the latest version of PICkit available? PICkit 4, but we are using PICkit 3. Next question. What does target device not found error in PICkit indicate? It means the programmer cannot detect microcontroller due to wiring and power issue. It is a error, one type of the error. The target device not found. It is because of microcontroller detecting of microcontroller due to wiring and power supply. Power issue. Last question. Why is the the PICkit preferred for educational and embedded project. It is affordable, easy to use, integrated smoothly with the MPLAB ideally. So it is a use. So in microcontroller development, software and hardware tools works hand in hand. Software build the program, hardware loads and test it. The tools like PICkit make this process faster and smarter, and especially for the PIC microcontroller. Understanding how this tool function is not just for passing exam, it is the fundamental of every embedded system. Okay, so it is very important you learn about the PICkit. Okay, if you like the video, please share, like and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.